Exclamation, everybody. Welcome to another channel update. This one for April 2020. And for those of you who've been on the channel for a while, you know that my channel updates tend to be part channel update, part just plain old vlog. I might stray more into the vlog area this time than anything else, but we'll see. A lot of things have been going on, and I just kind of wanted to, chat about a few things, and also, let's face it, I need to. There's some catharsis in talking about a few of the things that have been going on recently. So where to even begin? There's so many things. I'll begin with, obviously there's a lot of craziness going on right now in the world. I have been, for the most part, trying not to bring it up unprompted, because I know there's a lot of information out there, there's a lot of misinformation. Generally speaking, there's so much talk of the pandemic and what's going on with that, that I've kind of tried to be sort of an escape a little bit from it. So you can just come and just kind of watch some video games, watch somebody play video games really poorly. What I have done in response to a lot of the pandemic stuff is I've been focusing the channel mostly on, like, first impressions videos. I still have a bunch of Let's Play videos waiting in the wings to go up, and I'll start getting some more of those up, shortly. But I have been focusing primarily more on the first impressions videos, because I figure since everybody's home and stuck in their homes, they're going to be wanting to play video games, and maybe this is a good time to start getting recommendations out there for everybody. They're probably searching around looking for stuff to play, and now's a good time to be focusing on first impressions things. In fact, I believe there was an article I just read the other day that said that video game sales are skyrocketing, which makes sense. There's, you're stuck at home. There's really not much else to do when you're stuck at home, other than that and Netflix, and I'm sure Netflix is loving this too. So that's why I've been focusing specifically more on the first impressions videos lately, because it's just the nature of everybody's home, and I figure everybody wants to see more of, like, hey, maybe I like this game, maybe I don't, maybe people are more interested in trying out some new games now, maybe even going outside their normal wheelhouse because they're tired of playing, Fortnite or whatever. That's what I've been doing. I'm going to try to focus more on that for the next couple of weeks at least. But I will try to add some more balance with some of the Let's Play stuff. What you're seeing in the background right now is Wolson. I have a bunch of videos ready to go up for that. I just haven't said go on them yet. I have to remember to turn off. YouTube turned off about a year ago, I guess, the ability to automatically tweet out about new videos and stuff. I've been using a third-party if this then that, IFTTT, and the last time I published all my Wolson videos, like I published 8 of them in a row, I forgot to turn that off, and so it sent out 8 tweets about everything, because it works really well. So this time around, I'm going to make sure that I turn it off before I publish them, so I don't spam everybody with notifications. So apologies on that. It just slipped my mind, because it just happens automatically now. I don't have to think about it. Those will be coming out shortly. I just have to go through and just they're all uploaded and they're all private. I just haven't popped all the details into there yet. And I even have more that I still have to render. If you haven't followed any of the live streaming of it, I did rage quit the game. However, as you see here from this footage, I have been still playing it off camera. I've been kind of grinding up some levels in hopes that I can somehow figure out how to get past this damn boss battle, because it frustrated me to no end. It literally made me rage quit during a live stream. So that's why I've been slow to put the Wilson stuff up, because I'm hoping maybe I can get past this boss. I'll be recording the next time I do it, and hopefully at some point during that recording I'll get through the boss. But once I do that, then I'll consider going back and streaming some more of it. In the meantime, I have been streaming some Assassin's Creed 2. Actually, it's interesting. The story hasn't grabbed me yet. A lot of people say that the Assassin's Creed 2 story is the best, and they like the character of Ezio. And I don't know, I haven't really... He's kind of growing on me, but honestly, I haven't really gotten into it. The mechanics are a little bit better, ever so slightly. The collection stuff certainly is nice. It's nice having a villa to build up and all that stuff. So from that perspective, it's been keeping my attention. I'm not gonna 100% it, but I am. As of today, I went around off camera and got a bunch of viewpoints and stuff. And I'm at and bought a bunch of paintings and things, and I'm at I think 83% completion. So of all the collectibles and things. So we won't get 100% because I'm not going to collect all those feathers. You can't make me collect all those feathers. But the other things are easy enough to deal with. So I've been doing that. So that's kind of neat from that perspective. I'm kind of okay with that from there. And then I looked up the franchise order of things, like the story order, because I kind of want to do it in order if I can. So I think the next one after this one is Revelations. I believe there are 2 Revelations games that story-wise are of Ezio and are set between 2 and 3. So I will play those next, and then I'll play Assassin's Creed 3. I'm going to try to do it in order. There's a couple... There's Assassin's Creed Chronicles, which apparently is just like a side thing that's not in any of the main story stuff. So, because I can't find out where it actually takes place in the main story. So those I'll probably leave to the very, very end. But I will at least do those other 2, try to do some of it in order. And then get to Assassin's Creed 3, get through that, and then really I want to get to Assassin's Creed Black Flag at some point, because I hear that that's one of the better ones. I eventually want to get to the origins and all that stuff, but I'm doing it the long way around. And I will probably, maybe after Revelations or maybe after Assassin's Creed 3, I'll probably take a little bit of a break from Assassin's Creed series and pop back over to something else. By then, we'll probably have Cyberpunk 2020, so I can tell you when that comes out, that will probably take over my streaming for quite some time, unless it's really not that great, or I'm not really enjoying it that much. But that will probably take over for a while, at least a week or 2. We'll see. We'll see how long that holds my attention. So those are just sort of the general plans that I have right now, as far as content is concerned. That explains why I've changed content a little bit, because of the pandemic going on. It's nice to sort of cater to people who are stuck at home and are looking for something to play. So I figured I'd, try to do some more first impression stuff. There are a couple even first impressions games that I want to finish. I had intentions of finishing the Pedestrian, but I got really stumped on the live stream, the second live stream I did of it, and I couldn't get past the one thing. So I probably will eventually get past it, but I might end up finishing that game off camera rather than on. It's unfortunate, but it's just, puzzle games are, if I can puzzle my way, if they're if they're logical enough, I can usually get through them, but sometimes they're just so incredibly difficult for me to understand that I end up not being able to finish them. You know what I mean? It's just it is what it is. So that's a thing, or at least not finishing them on camera. I'd probably sit here off camera and for as long as I want and try to figure out what's happening and how I can, different ways I can go about it. So that's where we stand there. As far as like weekly things, Friday nights I've been doing my weekly STO thing, although I did it today instead of Friday night. I have a reason for why I didn't stream last night, and I'll talk about that. It'll be Friday night for you guys because this is going out Sunday probably. I'll talk about that in a minute. You probably can't notice it, but you'll notice it in a minute when I point it out. Saturdays I've been trying to do like just racing games. Mostly it's been Forza Horizon 4 because there's so much content in that game. And they just keep on making more and more content for it. So I've been trying to play a bunch of that. I haven't been recording any of it. It's just been on the streams. Just for the sake of, I know I had a series going on it, but it just gets a little ponderous after a while. You know what I mean? I just kind of want to stream it and not worry about having to render all that stuff out. Unless I do it as a, like I've been doing with the Wolson thing, where I just kind of split up into 25-minute segments and just willy-nilly and just put them all up at once or whatever every time I do a streaming session. But I'm not going to worry about that for that one. I might do that for another game or two, maybe. We'll see. I'm trying not to junk up the main channel too much. I've been thinking about, and someone asked me at one point if I stream on YouTube, and I used to have I still have the channel, the Memory Leak Doom channel, which is what I was doing my streaming on YouTube. I haven't been streaming on YouTube because they've been having a lot of problems with bots trying to sell adult services, from what I've seen, and I just don't have. I don't want to spend a lot of time moderating the chat, so I don't know if I'll end up having problems with that or not, but it's just something that I don't feel like having to stand there and stop what I'm doing and to moderate stuff if I can help it. But that being said, there might be a game or two that I might just live stream to the main channel, to Memory Leak Death. Perhaps I'll do it with the Cyberpunk 2020. Maybe I'll do it with that. Because that just beats having to chop it up and you'll see it immediately. The only problem with streaming directly to the channel is that it's going to be at 720p, because that's what I stream at. When I put up the VODs of my streams, they're at 1080p because I record them locally at 1080p 60. But I only stream them at 720p 60 because I'm not a partnered streamer anywhere, so most streaming services will not allow me to do 1080p 60 as a non-partner. Plus, it also, it takes up a lot of bandwidth, which I think I have enough bandwidth for it. It's just, I'd rather I don't have transcoding options because I'm not a partner, so I kind of have to balance the bit rate with what I'm actually streaming, right? I kind of have to keep the bit rate relatively low so that, because all you can see it is at source. When you click on the gear icon, all you can see is source. You can't see like any other options, and so I kind of have to balance that because people are probably coming on and don't have very good internet, and they can't really they're not going to be able to. It's going to be stuttery and everything for them if I do 1080p at a high bit rate and they can't handle it. You know what I mean? Whereas if I had transcoding options, I could do that, and then they could just change it down to 720p or whatever they want it to have a better experience. I just so I've been balancing that. That's why I do it that way. So it would mean then, you know, when I put it up on YouTube, it would be the 720p 60 because it would go up immediately. But you know, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm debating it still as to whether or not it would be worth it, or if it's just worth it to just keep recording and just pop the whole recording up there, you know, at the highest quality. I don't know. Well, it would save me a lot of time, and you guys would see it immediately. So we'll see. I'll have to weigh that in my mind a little bit. So invariably, I imagine some of you might be wondering, like, how's everything been going with me lately? I mean, obviously I've made some changes to the channel. I've been trying to maintain some semblance of output to the channel, and still streaming and everything else. But you know, how's everything else going? And to be honest with you, it couldn't be going better. Honestly, I've been very, very blessed, fortunate, lucky, privileged. I don't know. All those words probably are correct. In that I am able to completely work remotely. Not only am I able to do all my work remotely for my day job, but my day job went one step further, and a week before any restrictions were put in place by any states, well, other than maybe California, my company sent out an email, company-wide email, and told everybody to work from home until further notice. And they said to everybody, the entire company went remote, and we haven't had any problems with VPNs or anything like that. Like, it's been pretty darn solid. And you know, we have all the, you know, Microsoft Teams and all the remote, you know, video conferencing and all that stuff, and it's been business as usual, and which is just crazy to think about, because there's a lot of people. I think Pennsylvania alone set another record for unemployment the last week. I think it's something like I want to say it was something like 360,000 applied for unemployment benefits. I mean, it's a lot of people who got hit really badly by this whole pandemic and stuff, both health-wise and economic-wise, or both even, which is just a double whammy at this point. So there are no words. I can't come up with any words other than it's nuts. It's just absolutely nuts. And I am very, very, very lucky. I count my lucky stars quite a bit that I'm able to just continue like nothing's wrong. Not only was I able to continue like nothing was wrong, but I just had my yearly review via video conference, and it went swimmingly. I mean, it's like, you know, I couldn't ask for anything more than the way this has gone so far for me. That said, I am very empathetic to everyone who is having problems or struggling. I understand. I may not fully understand the plight that you're you're finding yourself in, but I can definitely empathize with the kind of decisions you're gonna have to make, and just the craziness that's going on in your lives right now. Fingers are crossed that when we all come out the other side of this, we'll come out not only alive, but we'll be able to pick up the pieces and get everybody back, hopefully, to some semblance of normalcy. Who knows? I can't even begin to fathom the kinds of problems that are still in front of us. I heard, I was watching the New York mayor, Blasio, I think, talking on, I don't know if it was CBS or CNN or one of those, and he said that in another day or two, New York is pretty well screwed. All the hospitals will be out of, all the life-saving equipment the hospitals have will be in use, and one of the knockoff effects of that is that and all the beds will be used and all that stuff, and one of the knockoff effects of that is even people with not COVID related stuff will be having problems getting the treatment that they need. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, like the top most disease that kills people in the country prior to this, like people in the U.S. that is, prior to this COVID stuff was heart disease, and I mean, I know that my mom passed away the last year after having 3 heart attacks in a row. So anybody who has any kind of like heart conditions or stuff, and we're not quite there yet, but we'll be getting into warmer weather in the coming months, and if this is still going on, and there's the warmer weather, and that puts a lot of strain on your body, and people with heart conditions might start experiencing problems if they can't get, they might have something that's quite treatable under normal circumstances, but now, since all the resources are taken up, since all the doctors are either sick or overworked, it's there's going to be a lot of people who end up passing away, not due to the virus, but due to just normally treatable things under normal circumstances, and that's crazy pants. It's just nuts. It's nuts to think about it. So I hope that everyone comes out of this in one piece and intact. There's not much else I could say to that would help anything. I very much feel like I'm at a loss for words for the whole situation. I don't know what words would help at this point. Especially given my situation where I'm already an introvert, so staying indoors for me has not been a big deal. Especially hasn't been a big deal given that I'm still able to work normally, still getting paid. I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pay the bills because I'm taken care of. So there's really not anything I can say that will make anyone feel better, other than I empathize with the decisions you're going to have to make going forward. So, some of that said, one of the things I've been trying to do is to, obviously I've been trying to stay inside as much as I possibly can. I've only been going out just for getting food, which I have to go out tomorrow to get food. But I specifically go out on Sundays because there's not as many people at the place I go to. And yeah, it's I do like, we're starting to get some warm weather, so I've gone for like a walk here and there just to stretch my legs during the week. But I also pick a time when there's really nobody else out, so I haven't, I've been able to maintain distance from everybody and everything. So I've been doing this a week or two longer than everyone else, so I've been pretty quarantined I have been very quarantined for a while now. So I definitely don't have anything that I am aware of, at least not that I've been infected, unless I've been infected going to the store in the last week or so. What I can say is, though, last night, the reason I canceled the STO, the live stream altogether, was because I had a fever. And of course, these days, getting a fever, you're like, the very first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, I've got this, don't I? This is it. This is the end of it. But the thing was, what was weird was that it was just a fever. Like, there was I didn't have a cold, I didn't have a cough, I didn't have any sinus problems, nothing else. It was just and it was a low-key fever. It was 99.9, which is weird. And here's where some life advice to everyone is: know your own body, right? When your body does something weird, be able to identify that something weird's going on and don't dismiss it, right? Because I was like, I don't know if I want to, maybe it's just a fluke. And then I realized, you know what? There's this other thing going on, and I can probably show you right here. I've got a bandage, a nice big bandage on my neck here. You probably can't see it with the lighting and stuff, but it's there. And I had a pimple. I still get freaking pimples. I'm like 39 years old. I'm still getting pimples on my face. I had a pimple that was rather big on my neck, and I had tried to do what everybody normally tries to do, is pop it, and I got like a little bit out, but I couldn't get, it was so hard to get, because it's in a bad spot. Anyone who's had like one on their face, that it's really, like, when you go to try to pop it, it really hurts more because your skin's tight as it is, and it's like, so I tried, but I couldn't succeed at getting all the pus out of it and stuff. And it started to, it was still pretty big. Like, I can't say that it got bigger, but because it was big to begin with, but it was certainly tender. And I couldn't see it very well, like, because it's on my neck, and you're trying to crane your neck and look at it in the mirror, it just doesn't work so well. I couldn't tell if it was infected or not, but I'm like, you know what? I had this random fever. So this is probably something that needs to be taken a look at. So today I went to the, urgent care. And I was just like, I just need you guys to look at this because I had a random fever and I'm not sure if this is, infected or not. I can't tell. They looked at it and were like, oh yeah, that's definitely infected. Oh yeah. It was like, yeah, that's cellulitis. That's basically pretty much a staph infection. Although they don't know for sure if it was a staph infection or not, they're still they won't get the results back until Tuesday. But he said it looked a lot like it, and he actually classified it as cellulitis, which is basically that, a bacterial infection that starts in your skin, and if left untreated, can get into your bloodstream and then really start wreaking havoc. In fact, cellulitis is, I'll give you a little anecdote here. Cellulitis is what actually started my mom spiraling downwards. She had a bunch of pre-existing conditions. One of them was she had phlebitis in her leg. So basically, her leg was the vein, the artery in her leg had been damaged by a blood clot many years ago, and so water and stuff didn't really travel as efficiently out of her leg. So her leg was always swollen and red and everything. But what happened last year was she, at some point, apparently got cellulitis. Now, the only way you know that you have cellulitis is either there's a big red mark on your, on the area where you have a wound, right? Which, in her case, it was on her leg, and her leg was already red and swollen, so she couldn't tell. Or you get the symptoms of an infection, which is usually, sometimes the only way you know you have an infection is having a fever. Whether she ever had a fever or not, we couldn't tell. I mean, she was on so many medications, maybe those medications were just helping her, were cutting the fever off before it could even start. Who knows? But ultimately, it went unchecked for long enough that it got into her blood, and then they had to flood her with antibiotics, and that's what ended up causing all kinds of complications, which ended up, several months later in her having 3 heart attacks in a row, the third one being the final nail in the coffin, so to speak. So, yeah, that was, this is one of those instances where, again, some life advice. Understand when your body is telling you something. You know what I mean? Understand your body enough to know when something seems off. Because I was sitting here and I'm like, I don't know. It was probably just a fluke. And then I'm like thinking, like, I've never really in my life ever had a fever that didn't have any other symptoms. Like, it's always been like, oh, I had it as a result of a cold or something like that. There's always been some other mitigating circumstance. Or I had food poisoning one time, and in addition to a fever, I could not, like, I laid down on the couch and could not get off the couch because I was just so weak from it. And I didn't have any of that. It was just like this random fever, and it only lasted for a couple hours. Like, I just came and went really fast. And it was low key. It wasn't a high fever. So I thought, this might be the time to go look, to go see a doctor. And glad I did, because that was the kind of thing that started my mom down the path of breathing her last. So I'm glad I caught this really fast. Like, it's like within 2 days of this being a thing, they went and cut open, drained it, and gave me antibiotics. So basically, the only price I paid for going to see them, I mean, other than obviously the visitation price, is because I took care of it early. They were able to just drain it and able to give me some pills to take for 7 days, like twice a day for 7 days, and that's it. So don't sit on stuff like that. I know it's tempting, and I was tempted to just kind of sit on it and be like, I'll just see where this goes. But because I went so quickly and got it done so quickly, it was simple, burned like hell when he was cutting into me, because the antiseptic, or what do they call it? The numbing agent was hurt like hell. It was some kind of iodine based agent, and it was like, he's like, the doctor's like, this is going to burn a lot. I'm just letting you know. I'm like, all right. And he injected him, and he's like, you feeling it? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm feeling it. He's like, okay, it's only going to be a few more minutes. So yeah. But I mean, I was like half an hour and it was done. Had pills to take. It's done. And you know, it's also one of those things where you see all this, you don't want to take up any resources from other people. Like, that's the other thing I was thinking. I was like, oh, you know, if this is nothing, then I've probably wasted time and resources that could be used on other people and stuff like that. And it turns out I went in there, and you know, I even mentioned it to the doctor, and he's like we've been pretty much sitting around waiting for people. He's like, no one's really getting sick, probably because they're not going out and interacting with people, right? So like, nobody's getting sick. The only thing we're seeing is a lot of injuries, like broken bones and sprains and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, because everybody's home now, and so everyone's thinking, oh well, you know, I had all these projects to do around the house, you know, maintenance and other things, so might as well do those. And you know, getting up on ladders and stuff, and now they're getting broken bones and everything else. So that was pretty funny to hear that. It was like, yeah, no, we haven't really had anybody sick in weeks. It's just been a lot of like sprains and strains and broken bones and stuff. I'm like, huh, well, that's makes me feel better that I'm not wasting any resources or anything like that. Which honestly, for this, is not a waste. This is one of those things where had I let this go any, you know, longer, it would have been an emergency and not just a, you know, 35-minute doctor visit. You know, this would have been I gotta go to the emergency room, which would have been even worse because all the emergency rooms are taken up. This way I was able to just go to an urgent care and just get it done and not worry about it. You know, and not take up any resources or anything. So again, especially now, you know, like, understand how your body reacts to things, and understand when your body's is trying to warn you about something, because don't let it be even right now, because the thing is, if you let it go, like if I, as I said, if I let this go, I would have been then taking up emergency. I would have been trying to go to the emergency room, and you know, the waiting time there is, I believe, like 5 or 6 hours now because of all the COVID patients and all that stuff. And then I would have been definitely putting myself at risk of even getting the virus then, whereas here I was able to just, there was no one else. There were no other patients in the room, in the waiting room when I went in. So, you know, just be smart about things right now, and you'll end up making it all better for everyone. you know what I mean? Because that's always the weird thing about, I mean, that's the weird thing about pandemics, right? Is you're going to get it. You want to get it early while the resources are still available. Now is not the time to be getting anything. And if you do have something, you know, don't sit on it, because you don't want it to become worse, because you're not going to get treatment. You know what I mean? If it becomes worse. So yeah, just some life words of wisdom there, I guess, for you. And you know, I mean, the worst that happened is I have a bandage that won't stay on because I haven't shaved. It just keeps falling off. Yeah, you know, that's, I wanted to put that out there. I'm also probably going to do a little tweet chain too, because I know not very few people watch these anyway, and I don't blame them, because I'm boring on a good day, and this is particularly a boring video, I'm sure. But yeah, that kind of wraps up what I've got going on and what's been happening with me. Otherwise, I've been fine. I hope everyone else is doing as well as they can do in this these times. They are trying times, and I hope that everyone's like making it through. This is also the time where, you know, it can be rough, just kind of being around, especially if you're alone. I understand that probably better than most. I've been alone for many years, and you know, being lonely prior to being told to stay indoors was hard enough. Now, it's in many cases a little bit harder, but it's not. It's actually not as hard as I thought it would be. It's almost like I now have an excuse. It's like before I had to come up with an excuse as to why I didn't want to go out and be around people. Now I have an excuse, so it's actually hasn't been quite as lonely or as bad as it has been in the past for me. So it's I don't know, it's kind of a weird mental jump there. But I hope everyone else is doing as well as you can do given the circumstances, and I hope everyone just gets through this. At the end of the day, I think that's about all you can do, is just to get through it in as much of one piece as you possibly can. I think, and hopefully you guys are enjoying some of the first impressions videos that I've been doing. We got a whole lot more on the list. I've bought a lot of games. It's funny because since I'm not driving as much, I haven't had to go buy gas, or I haven't been buying. I've been buying food, but I've been buying it for the entire week instead of like every day going to lunch and stuff. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just redirect some of those funds to my old gaming habit. So I've been picking up games left and right and center, and making videos on them, and I hope everyone's been enjoying those. Looking over some of the stats here, it seems like, you know, you're getting some good views. You're getting the kind of views that you would get like in the summertime, in the summer months when more people are looking for entertainment and stuff, which makes sense because everybody's home. So that's cool. And I hope everyone's. I'm gonna keep on keeping on with all the videos, and I don't know. I'm not sure what other series I want to do. There's so many on my list that I want to tackle. I'm not sure which ones I want to tackle next. Obviously, I'm tackling the Assassin's Creed series as much as I can. I mean, there's so many games that are so many hours to put into that, and I'm completely far behind everybody else. That's going to be several years before I get through that whole series. But I was trying to think of other series maybe that I want to go through. I know, obviously, I want to finish Wilson at some point, but I just have to get past this boss to do it. And Torchlight 3, I don't know if that's coming out this year or not, but I have that still on my radar. Obviously Cyberpunk, and Borderlands 3. I know I started a series on that and then I abruptly stopped because so many other things came out. I will try to get back to that. I still have to finish Borderlands 2 as well. I'm not completely finished that. I'm actually at a nice fun DLC part of that, if I remember correctly. So I'll see about when I can kind of pop back into there. There was also another FPS that I wanted to finish that was like a little indie FPS. I can't think of the name of it, but it was kind of janky, but I still enjoyed it. So I might pop back in there and try to finish that one. Everreach was it called? I think it was something like that. I still have other MMOs to jump into too. The only MMO I've really been doing lately is Star Trek Online. But I still have to I still have a lot to do in Neverwinter. And I might pop back in there at some point soon just to see what's going on. And there was that Eve, single player Eve like game. I can't remember the name of it. I still need to go back to that too. So there's a lot of things I need to revisit and continue the series on. It's just I've been between. I've been actually struggling to manage my workload. Like I've been focusing entirely on work related stuff, and I've been working. You know, like it's very true. When you work from home, you end up putting more hours in because you don't have to drive and all that stuff. You don't have to look good. So I've been like starting work at 8 o'clock and going till 5:30 some nights. You know, and then, you know, I also have to manage my breaks because sometimes I forget to take a break because I'm home. And so, like, I'll get up out of the chair here and just be, like, unable to even walk. My legs will be asleep and everything. So I've been trying to, like, balance that and also, like, getting some exercise here and there and things like that. So it's been a lot of change as to how things are going on. And ironically, because I'm in the zone so much more now, I don't have as many I won't call them distractions. I'll say I don't have as many opportunities to take a break as I do normally in the office. I've been just kind of hyper focused for longer periods of time. And so what ends up happening is I get done for the day and I go to just start doing YouTube videos or, you know, recording or doing a live stream. And I'm like, man, I am just beat. I am just, the motivation is just gone. You know, it's like, you're just so like drained, just, I wouldn't say emotionally, but you're just drained mentally, you know. So I've been trying to keep a balance of all that too. It's taken me a while, but I'm starting to fall into a nice good pattern that allows me to like have some breaks during the day and also you know, not completely drain my energy by the end of it. So a lot of that too has been contributing to my sometimes lack of content or just not live streaming one night or stuff like that too. So anywho, I think I've rambled on far too long. How long has it been? 48 minutes. Yeah, that's me. That's what I do. I ramble. You guys know this. And yeah, this is less a channel update anymore and more a vlog. But you know, I do like to talk about the things that I'm thinking about for the channel and stuff that I'm doing and whatnot. You know, I am trying to stream or mostly on a regular basis that I can. It reminds me, I am super far behind on the Picky Trekkie channel. I actually have a video finished for episode 4 of Picard. And I have one recorded, but not edited for episode 5 of Picard. But I have not been back to them to do the editing and stuff. Just because I've been so just freaking drained at the end of the day. So I will, I'll see what I can do about it. I have not watched 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, because I didn't want to color my opinions of the individual episodes by seeing the next one. You know what I mean? So I'll be seeing those for the first time soon, and trying to record my thoughts on those hopefully at some point. It's just I've been focusing more on the gaming stuff because I kind of enjoy the gaming stuff slightly more. I enjoy the critiquing of Star Trek, but I don't enjoy the editing. I kind of wish I could just hire somebody to do the editing. But the problem with that is that there's a particular way I'm looking for it to be edited, and I'm not sure that anyone looking at it would understand the things I'd want to drop and the things I'd want to keep, that kind of thing. So it would end up taking me longer to explain it than it is to just probably do it. But yeah, those are things I have on my list. I know I'm behind on that. I'll get back to that at some point. Nobody really watches any of them anyway, so I'm not in any rush to do that. It was kind of just a side thing to kind of like give me a break sometimes from just the rote nature of constantly doing games. So it was kind of nice from that perspective. And it also keeps me from constantly talking about it during my STO live sessions and all that stuff. Because I was spending a lot of time just talking about it there. And that's not necessarily, instead of playing the game, and it's not necessarily the what people were there for. So in any event, I think it's time for me to skedaddle here. I have so what is it? Bactrim is the, I guess, the overarching name of the medicine I have. So I've been drinking a lot of liquids because they say, the doctor forgot to mention it, but it says on the label, on the instructions that come with it, that like you should probably drink lots of fluids because this has, one of the side effects is kidney stones, so you want to drink lots of fluids and make sure that you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, I gotta make sure I do that because I've been talking a lot here and I haven't been drinking as much. So I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna get this edited and out there, and I hope everyone is safe and healthy and as happy as you can be given the times. I want to emphasize something right now. Again, this is like life lesson number 2 from memory here. For the love of all that's holy, please do not take it upon yourself to cure yourself of the virus. Please talk to a doctor. Like, there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there right now. I see them on the YouTube comments, like, saying, you just need to, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C is all you need. Like, just, before you do anything that is touted as a cure or heal-all or something like that, just talk to your doctor first before you do anything like that, because they know, I mean, you know your body, but they also know your medical history, and you may not think that something like vitamin C could injure you, but if you don't have, if you've got a pre-existing condition of something, it could. Everything out there has some sort of LD50, right? Lethal dose of 50% of the population. Even like vitamin C, I would imagine has one. I haven't looked it up, but I imagine it does. So like, just don't be a dingus. Like, if anyone's touting something as a cure or something like that, I don't care how many. There was one that I saw that was like, here's a study that says that vitamin C is great and all that stuff, and clearly all they did was read the summary. They didn't read the actual study, because if they had, they would have realized that it wasn't as much a cure-all as they thought it was, and also it wasn't peer-reviewed from what I could see, or even replicated. And it was only a study of only 500 college kids. So it's like, just for the love of God, please talk to your doctor before you put anything like that in your body. That's what they're there for. You can call them up. You don't have to go in person. You can just call them up and be like, yo, I heard about this. Is this a thing? You know, and just like they're not going to yell at you. They're just going to set you straight and be like, no, that's not going to work for you. You know what I mean? Just like save yourself a bunch of money. You'll save yourself a bunch of worrying. You know, just don't do that stuff. It's weird that I feel like I need to say that, but it's like I've seen the stories of people just messing themselves up because they. There was an article just today. It was like people are like they think 5G cell phone signals are causing COVID-19. It's just be aware that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of armchair specialists, you know, right, who want to be right about something. They're trying to either sell you something because they're trying to profit off of a horrible situation, or they're trying to, they want desperately to be an expert at something, and they don't care how many people listen to their words and end up, you know, maiming and or murdering themselves because of those words. You know, they're thinking, they're so selfish. They're thinking only about themselves and only about having their own inflated ego and not about what kind of damage their words are doing. So just like chill. You know what I mean? Just you know, you'll get through it. It may not seem like it, but you'll get through it. Just relax. Play some video games. By all means, watch some news, but maybe watch an hour and then turn it off and then just read a book. Play some games. Watch some YouTube videos. You know, whatever. Just relax. We'll all get through this. We all just relax. And you know, there's an old saying that says, people that panic die. People who remain calm live. You know, it's very, very apt. Every time I hear it. So, just just do that. You know, be calm. You'll get through all this. You'll find a way. You will find some way. This is not the end of all things. And for God's sakes, let the professionals. Let the professionals tell you whether or not something's going to work or not. You know, let the people who do this day in and day out and know what they're talking about, went to school for it and all that stuff, let them tell you whether something is going to work for you or not. You know. Anyway, I'm done. I'm off my pulpit. It's almost an hour now, and if you made it this far, congratulations, and thank you. To everyone who's new to the channel and everyone who's returning to the channel, thank you so much for watching and hanging out and giving me words of encouragement. I've gotten quite a few encouraging comments and things. The videos are, for the most part, mirrored on other sites. I'm way behind on library, lbry.tv. But I'm trying to get caught up with that. They actually have a lot of analytics now and stuff, which is awesome. I'm just trying to get caught up with it. I'm so far behind on there. But you can see the videos on d.tube. You can see them on Steemit. You can see them on bittube.tv. Bittube.tv is mirrored directly from YouTube, so as soon as something goes live on YouTube, it'll go live over there. DTube is a little bit behind because I have to actually mirror it myself. I have to pop the link in, and I usually forget to do it until later in the day. But then again, usually when I do it, it gets seen later in the day more than it does if I do it earlier. So that's also a reason for that. BitChute has been broken for ages now. Like I had the YouTube sync on it, and it hasn't synced anything in God knows how long. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I could start uploading things manually, but it's just not even worth it. And you know, it just they can't even get their site to work properly. So, and people have had lots of problems uploading things even. So, that one, there's still some videos up there. You might occasionally catch a video that actually ends up getting synced, but it's been very few and far between. Apparently I'm not acerbic enough to get high priority on sync, I guess. So, so that's where we stand, friends. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope everyone is happy and healthy, and we'll all get through this together. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.